All right, so now I'm just going to talk a little bit about, I guess, the way that these are currently set up at the moment. So when you click on your school, it will have, again, its own landing section. There's a table of contents. Uh, I have added this, and these are links to this, and these are links to the tabs within this. Now, the reality is that this is going to change as this evolves, and you may choose or not choose to update it. It's entirely up to you. You may find that this is just completely unnecessary, and I don't personally mind either way. I just was trying to make it a little bit easier for everybody. But if you do update it, and what I mean by update is if you want to add a tab in the space, you would just need to go click inside and click enter, and then let's say I just quickly show you how to add a section. So let's say I just call this one international. Whoops, I can't type. Okay, so I've made a new tab. All you have to do is right click on it and click copy link to section, and then come back, and you could go international, highlight it, and go link and paste the address. Okay, now this will then take you to that tab. So if you're just adding a few tabs here and there, that's one way to do it. I use some add-ons, so if you really add a lot of pages and haven't updated this and would like me to do it, these buttons here you won't have access to, and there's quite a number of these tabs that you won't have access to because they're part of an add-on I use. So if yours looks a little bit different, you're not missing out on anything. They're only really useful if you're developing something this big. But if you decide that you need to add like an international tab to many of your pages, for an example, then rather than do what I just did on a one-off step-by-step basis, I can actually run a macro which will generate all of this for you. Just let me know that you want me to do that, and I'm happy to facilitate it. Okay. Um, Next is a contact information section. So this page is intentionally blank. It's actually just kind of a divider. And then I've got for the School of Ag, because I knew, I went ahead and did this for Sam. This is a list of who are the program coordinators and for what majors, and their staff IDs, and eventually we'll add in their phone extensions. Again, keeping in mind, it's not just for us, but it's also something that will be useful for, our credit and exit team and even the enrollments team when they need to maybe get approvals for something. They may start to develop their own lists for this, but if we're keeping them updated, it'd just be really good if they started using this and they update when they find out that the program coordinators changed. Maybe they know before we do. If we could just have, as we all like to love and say, a single source of truth, then we're not duplicating work across the uni. And so that's my ambition and goal for this. And this was the thing that I was given to generate this, but I thought it was a really nice visual as well, so I just kept that. And then I've got the school structure, leadership structure, so head of school, acting head of school, associate heads, academic integrity officer, etc. You may want to add to this, so this is what I've got as a starting place, but you may want to add additional rows of key people within your school. So to do that, just highlight the row above or below where you want to go and add a row, and go to table, and you can see you can insert above or you can insert below, and then you can just populate the information. In case it wasn't clear, also if you want to add a page, you just click add a page. And you can also make templates. So if there is something that, and I can't imagine what exactly, but if we get to a point where every page is basically an identical copy of the pages before it, you can make a template and save it, and then when you click add a page, that particular template will be there for you just by clicking add the page. So I probably won't go through that today, but if anyone finds that they're a particular section is repeating and it's identical, I can show you how to make a template. Of course, you can always Google it. You don't need me, but if you want me to show you how to do it quickly, I'm happy to do that. Okay, and then obviously up the top here, I have a section group. So these tabs here, when they're colorful, they're called sections. And so you can add multiple sections just by clicking the tab here. Or, now I'm going to delete these because it didn't need that many, but okay. Or you can have a section group. Now, the reason there's a difference is when you go into this, it allows you to make more sections or tabs. Whereas you can't, once you're at the section level, if you think about it this way, it goes section group, section, and then pages. So if you're trying to think about it like a notebook itself, this is your entire notebook. And then if you've got little dividers in your notebook, that's sections. And then you've got the pages within the sections between the dividers. So if you try to think of it as a physical notebook, it might help. So, so under the AD&G, I've made this, but I'm going to delete it. I have my general knowledge, outbounds, course equivalents, and impact statements. The tabs automatically make themselves new colors when they're added, so I apologize, I can't control that. I did, for some notebooks, I made the tabs at least the same color within that space, but honestly, the colors don't matter. They're absolutely irrelevant, but if you're someone who loves color coding, then you can change the colors by going down to section color and picking your color. Okay, that's fine. Everybody's will be different. Some people don't have time for that. No worries. General knowledge for the meantime is kind of your dumping ground if you start to realize that there's things that need to go in that don't fall under outbounds, equivalents, or impact statements. This is a nice little place for you to drop it for now, but going forward, you might start to organically realize, I really need a tab for this. Maybe, for example, within your space, there's a lot of placement related information and you might want to make yourself a placements tab. That's fine. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different. Again, you might have a reason for international. So these 4 tabs are the same for everywhere. And then please feel free to organize additional tabs around what you start to notice as a theme that needs its own place. But to start with, this is the place, the general knowledge tab is where you can sort of shove everything, and then you can easily move things by either going cut, and then you can go in and hit Control V, or because I didn't have anything, let me actually add a page. Okay, so you can click on the page and hit Control X or cut, go into your other space and go, you need to have one page in there apparently, but paste, and then ta-da, your thing is there. You can also go move, and then you can go down and you can find wherever you want it to move, but as you can see, like, can be a bit annoying because there's so many different options and etc. But you can also copy. So if you do something really nice and you're like, oh, that would be helpful for another section, you can go copy and paste as well. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of these. Now, someone has said, oh, what if we delete something and we don't mean to delete something? So I'll do that for you. I've deleted that page, but let's say I really actually don't want that deleted. Bear with me here. Under history, there's a couple things we can do. So notebook recycle bin. So you can go to the note, don't hit that and don't hit that. But if you go notebook recycle bin, you'll see all of the pages that you've deleted. And the last one will be the one that you deleted the most recently. Okay. And then right click on that. And I thought there was a restore page, but you might just actually just go move or copy. But for me, because I prefer copy, I'll just go copy, and or can I go page versions? I could have swore that there was like a restore. Nope, doesn't seem like it. So maybe they took it out. So I'll just go copy, and then I'll use the back button. So this is how you get back. And I will go back to, thing is, you'll have to remember where you deleted it from. So right click a page or section to move it out of the recycling bin. I'm really annoyed that there's not a restore. Search results. So maybe if I go, yep. So this is where it was before. So I'll just paste it there. So obviously, like, try not to delete things because it's annoying because you then have to remember where to go. Now that there's not a restore button, but yes, there is a recycling bin, and if you click empty recycle bin, it's gonna prompt you to say, "Are you sure you want to do that?" So let's not do that. Also, if I make changes to this, like if I delete something and then I regret that, there is a page versioning. So recent edits can go since yesterday, which will bring up everything. So just trying to remember because it's been a while since I've done this. While I'm at it, the other thing is you can hide authors or you can see who's made changes. But the thing is, because I am the author of this page and I've made the changes, it will not show you. But if someone else came into my note and started making changes, their initials would appear off to the side. And so if that shows and you don't want it to show, you come to history and click hide authors. If you want it to show, then you click, so there's no box around it, you click unhide. So I'm guessing that you have the changes have to be, you can just, if I, like for what I just did was delete that, I think you can just undo, but I think if you want something that went a little bit further back, that's when you can go find recent edits and go today, since yesterday. So, if you know that 6 months ago it was a certain way, whatever, you can go back to that version. But there is page versioning on it. But because it hasn't been significantly changed since I created it, as in I only created this now, it's not showing up. But if I go to my old one, for example, just trying to think. So you can see here it highlights which ones were changed from today and yesterday. And then you can go right click and go show page versions. And you'll see that Jess did some changes on the, I don't know why it says Jess because that was me, but anyway. Yeah, you can see the changes from when the last person did it. So, oh, it's updating it from yesterday. There we go. That's better. Okay. Anyway, long story short, I don't have to use this function very often, so sorry that was a bit of a clunky explanation. I've only had to do it a couple times because I am careful to not delete things. But in saying that, I know that they're there, and so there's a fail-safe. If you're worried about things being changed, you can go back to previous versions. Okay, so I'm just going to delete these pages now. So again, you can add a new section, which will just be a colored tab, or you can delete that. And instead, if you want a section group, which allows you to separate things, so I did think about, for example, if we want our own space that we ask that we ask Central to not go into, we can create a new section group, and we might just say, Ashley, and we just you know, say, look, please don't go into that group. And if you really wanted to, you can password protect the section. So you can click set a password, and but just keep in mind it says if you lose or forget the password, OneNote cannot recover your data. And remember that passwords are case sensitive, so be very sure that you're adding a password that you are not going to forget. And then if you want to change or remove the password, there's an option for that over here. So I think password falls under review, but you can also right click to access passwords. So I'm just going to remove that. Okay. But yes, there's an option there if you want to kind of have one section in your overarching school that is, you know, that belongs just to you, and then you can password protect it. So I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll then move on to adding content.